My apologies. And then we have Susan Holt, our program manager. As well, we have Shannon Burge and Tanner Wolverton, the specialists, alongside our CDBG representatives who are also online. I'm sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties. Just one second. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble moving to the next screen. Okay, here we go. Thank you so much. So what's new for, let's do some housekeeping items first. So our webinar, to have you ask a question. To ask questions, you'll need to click the Q&A chat bubble to submit a question to the CDBG team. You may ask questions anonymously, but if you want your name and your organization or region associated with your question, you'll need to type it in the your name box. The team will read questions after the presentation and will provide answers if possible. All questions will be saved and recorded as part of the public record. So what's new? We have the 2025 income limits for the Home Investment Partnerships Program, HOME Program, the Community Development Block Grant Program, CDBG, the National Housing Trust Fund, the Housing for Healthy California Article 1 program. They're all available online. So these updated income limits, which were effective June 1st, 2025, for the CDBG program, the HOME program, including HOME ARC and HCA programs are now available. The income limits are used to determine applicant eligibility and may be used to calculate affordable housing costs for applicable housing assistance program. The use of these income limits are subject to a particular program's definition of income, family size, effective dates, and other factors. To view the limits, please visit HCD's State and Federal Income, Rent, and Loan Value Limits webpage. Open the CDBG Home, Income Value Subsidy, and Rent Limits folder. Please note that all the links above the information under the heading Official State Income Limits are not to be used for these federal programs. Remember, there are federal income limits, which we provided you, that were effective April 1st, and there are state income limits, which are effective June 1st, and you can find them on our website, and we will be placing the link in the chat. Thank you very much. Also, I'd like you to remember that any links that we have in this presentation will be made available in the newsletter that is sent out after the office hours has ended. If you have not signed up for the newsletter, we'll drop the link in the chat so that you can go ahead and sign up and make sure that you're getting the latest information, follow-up information from these office hours, and you have resources available to you. Okay, did you know that for the 2023 and 2023 aid contracts, that General Administration, GA, should be submitted as its own funds request under the main contract number? For 2023 and 2023A, activity funds requests should be submitted separately under the sub-award contract number. Each funds request will need its own financial reporting form. GA and activity reports do not have to follow the same reporting period. All right, pre-award costs. Pre-award costs are expenditures incurred before the official start date of the grant agreement. These costs are specifically for pre-development of the CDBG award, such as Project NEPA and bid-ready plans and specs. HCD permits grantees to charge these pre-award costs to the grant, provided that the costs are identified in the application budget, activity description, and the statement of work. The activities are eligible and undertaken in accordance with requirements. Please know that Pre-award costs related to implementing the actual activity requires prior permission from HCD and completion of the project NEPA. As always, please reach out to your CDBG representative for process details. Okay. So the 2023-2024 CDBG monitoring results. They were released June 1st, 2025. HCD released the CDBG Management Memo 25-02. It provides the results of CDBG and CV monitoring for 2023 and 2024 calendar years. It informs grantees of common issues related to prior year monitoring. The CDBG and CV program monitoring report for 2023-2024, which was updated June 1st, can be found on the resource tab at Community Development Block Grant Program. So the results of the monitoring showed that in 2023, there were 25 findings and 12 concerns. In 2024, on the CDBG annual, there were 9 findings and 7 concerns. And for CDB, for the 23 and 2024 results, there were 23 findings and 6 concerns. This link again will be available in the chat box or in the newsletter that is forthcoming. Community resources, we love this. So this, we will add community resource screens as we identify potential funding opportunities for our rural cities and towns. And one of our specialists located this community resource from T-Mobile called the Hometown Grants. Did you want to discuss this, Shannon?
Yeah, I can kind of talk about it. So apparently one of our, this has actually been a grant that's been used by one of the other eligible grantees with our program, and it's been used for broadband infrastructure. So I know that broadband is kind of one of those topics that, you know, can get kind of slippery with CDBG. I mean, we can do it, but it's always, there's a lot of pieces with broadband and with CDBG. And, you know, since we're trying to encourage, you know, other funding sources in addition to CDBG, you know, so we're not the sole funding source, you know, one of our grantees kind of stumbled upon this, and it really, it helped make a difference in that broadband infrastructure that they are working towards. So just wanted to at least make sure that we shared this with you guys, especially as we find other things that we see other grantees are using. We want to make sure that we can get that word out about, you know, these other funding opportunities.
Thank you so much, Shannon.
Thank you, Shannon. Crystal, can I
Please.
just jump in here really quick? I just wanted to make sure a reminder that per HCD policy, AI and note-taking software is not allowable during this meeting. So folks who are engaging in that will be kicked out of the meeting. So if you are engaging in any AI during this presentation, if you could please turn that off, then that will avoid us having to kick anybody out. So just wanted to bring that up. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much, Susan, and thank you, Shannon. I also wanted to point out on this T-Mobile grant, it is really designated for rural cities and towns, which is our grantee base. So you all should take a look at that. Thanks for finding that for us, Shannon. Okay, before we get into questions and answers recap from prior office hours, I would like to, we have a staffing change that we would like to announce. Miss Jeannie?
Hi, everyone. I see a lot of familiar names on here. I wanted to announce to everyone that I am actually no longer part of the CDBG program. I am still with HCD. I'm just working on a different capacity. I know we've all heard the rumors of the new system that we're all migrating to, and that is where I'm moving to. It's been an amazing pleasure working with every single one of you guys. CDBG will always have a near and dear place in my heart. you will definitely see CDBG in the new system. I will make sure it is shining for it. This program has been absolutely amazing and has made such a huge difference and impact in my life and every single one of the jurisdictions that I have had the pleasure of working with, every single person on here. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this amazing program. And I look forward to seeing all the amazing accomplishments that CDBG goes and does in the future. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Jeannie. Jeannie has been promoted to a specialist 2 position, and it is so well deserved. And we're going to keep her as a resource to CDBG.
Yes, we are. And I want to personally thank Jeannie for her massive major contributions she has made to this program and in the processes and in tightening up, and the work that she's done here is measurable. And we really, really want to send her off well and wish her well in her new role. And like she said, she will keep CDBG in mind as we create the new
Yes.
system. So we really could not have a better resource, and we're very proud of her and wish you well on your new adventure, Jeannie. Thank you for everything that you've done here so far.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Great. Okay. Questions and answers, a recap from prior office hours. So this is a recap from our February 19th office hours, which had not been presented to the group. So question, Great Northern Services would like more communication from HCD on HUD developments and payments for 2022, 23, 23A obligated funding. Has 2024 and 2025 funding been allocated and obligated? The answer, HCD continues to be able to draw down all funds for executed grant agreements. HCD has executed grant agreements for each year listed in this question, except for 2025. CDBG program information for 2025 will be released with this 2025 CDBG NOFA. The regulation related to equipment is 2 CFR Part 200-313. Does not say perpetuity. It states for as long as needed. This is a very different statement. Can you please review and set up a process? The answer is asset management is covered in Chapter 6 of the GMM. See page 6 through 9. GMM is the grants management manual. Disposition of equipment is handled on a case-by-case basis. Reach out to your program representative for specifics or email cdbg@hcd.ca.gov if you do not have an assigned representative. I noticed in the new Chapter 2 that you have lost rent listed. What is this? The answer, Matrix Code 9 is an activity not included under the current NOFA list of eligible activities. It is defined as payments to owners of housing for loss of rental income due to temporarily holding rental units for persons displaced by CDBG assisted activities. Chapter 2 covers all eligible CDBG activities. Is there anything specific that makes you say you have no reason to believe the CDBG program will go away? We have been instructed by CDBG reps to submit reports, reimbursement requests more frequently to ensure reimbursement because of the current federal climate, which we are happy to do, but does create a feeling of trepidation. The answer, CDBG recommends submitting financial reports, reimbursement requests frequently to avoid potential delays in project program completion. Any updates on program income applications? PI applications are moving forward. Please reach out to your program representative for assistance. If you do not have a CDBG program representative assigned, please reach out to the CDBG inbox at cdbg@hcd.ca.gov. Can we apply for CDBG funds as a nonprofit for rehabilitation of our existing housing units? The answer, The Housing and Community Development Block Grant Program partners with rural cities and counties to improve the lives of their low and moderate income residents through the creation and expansion of community and economic development opportunities in support of livable communities. Please reach out to your local cities and counties to see if you can partner with them. Question: just submit an income survey request. How long should we anticipate approval? We have 2 more to submit. Please reach out to your program representative for an update. Is there an anticipated 2025 NOFA release date? HCD currently expects the 2025 CDBG NOFA to release in the summer of this year. Question: is there a list of program representatives? It would be so handy to be able to reference that as the representatives are changing regularly. CDBG program representatives are assigned to balance workloads and provide the best customer service. If you have any questions on who your assigned representative is, please email the unit inbox. Is the CDBG PI application the same as the home PI application? CDBG and home are 2 different programs. Please contact your home or CDBG representatives as appropriate. Sometimes eCivis shows draft, but when you go in, it will show submitted, FYI. The answer: an auto reply is generated from eCivis stating the application was received. You can always reach out to your representative or the inbox to confirm receipt at cdbg@hcd.ca.gov. Question: is there a link for the PLHA portal for applications? Answer: please see the PHLA website, the Permanent Local Housing Allocation Program with HCD. The link is provided, and again, it will be provided in the newsletter as well. All right, we have arrived at the time for questions and answers. Please submit your questions via Zoom Q&A. Please do not put them in the chat, as we will not monitor the chat box. We will monitor the Q&A. Just one moment. Hannah, can you kick in that Q&A? I'm having some technical difficulties.
Sorry, yes, sure.
Thank
Brandy
you.
Caparasso asks, will we have to resubmit reports back to the beginning of the contract for 2023 and 2023A that had combined reporting for GA and activity? Shannon?
Hi, Brandy. Okay, so I think we might need some more information if just so I'm clear, because for 2023 and 2023A, we have both the main and the sub app. Your main application holds your GA, and then your sub apps hold the activity expenses. So you should be submitting reporting under each piece. So maybe if I'm not sure which CDBG reps that you work with, but if you can maybe reach out to them so they can get in contact with me, we can maybe try to have a conversation to figure out what's going on, because I want to make sure we can help you.
Thanks, Shannon.
Yep.
Angel Johnson asks, oh, excuse me. When will the most recent awards be made public on an awards list? Susan?
Sure, thanks for that question. So, when they're gonna be made public is yet to be determined. California is still under embargo on awards, so we got the embargo released on the 2023 and 23A awards, and those have been made public. But the 2024, unfortunately, we don't have an estimated timeframe just yet on when those will be added to the website, but we'll try and keep everyone posted, and hopefully we have an answer for you by the next office hours.
Thanks, Susan. Beth Dodd asks, can we get an update on the 2024 awards? For those that got conditional award letters, will they receive an official letter or just a standard agreement once generated? Susan?
Sure, thanks for that question, Beth. Appreciate that too. An update on the awards. For those that got a conditional award letters, we're still working through some of the corrections and getting folks into standard agreements. We started that on a rolling basis in May and they continue to move along. As far as getting an official letter, that is part of the standard agreement package that you'll be signing. If you individually would like a copy of your award letter, we can certainly provide that to you. Just reach out to your program representative or the CDBG unit inbox, which if one of you could drop that in the chat, that'd be really helpful. And so feel free to reach out for that and we can get one for you. But again, with the caution, and the wording is on the letter that we are under embargo, so jurisdictions are prohibited from publicly discussing or announcing the 2024 awards at this time, and we'll keep you updated as that changes.
Thanks, Susan. You could take the next one as well. Beth Dodd asks, can we get an update on the 2025 NOFA, please?
Sure, the 2025 NOFA is in play right now. We're still refining and fixing up some things, but like we mentioned on the slide earlier, we do anticipate releasing the 2025 NOFA sometime in the summer. We're shooting for next month, fingers crossed. Doing our best to get it out as quickly as we can, but I would anticipate it this summer for sure.
Thank you, Tanner. My technical difficulties are resolved. I can take this.
Okay.
From Bandy Caparasso, when will the new consolidated plan be issued and the updated CDBG guidelines? Will these have an effect on the 2025 CDBG NOFA? Shannon, you got this for us?
Yeah, and I did so I did drop in the chat the draft consolidated plan for 2025 through 2029 that I know that we did release. From my understanding is that this has been submitted to HUD. I would take a look at that consolidated plan and review the section specifically for CDBG. And Felicity, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to what I had to say.
Sure, I can just add briefly that there were no changes to the CDBG method of distribution from what was published in the draft plan. So that should give you a very good sense of what will be in the 2025 NOFA. It aligns with the method of distribution described there. If I can put the page, I can go into there and put the page numbers of the method of distribution in just a moment. And then the other part of the question was, are there any updates to the CDBG program guidelines? And there are no anticipated updates to the CDBG program guidelines at this time. They will remain in place for this 2025 NOFA, the same program guidelines as we've used previously. Hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you, Felicity and Shannon. So Brandy Carparosa asks, I know NEPA Assist is not within the HCD realm, but could HCD ask HUD when it will be back online for housing rehab projects? It is a time and money saver. NEPA Assist.
Yeah, so I know what you're talking about, Brandy. Thank you for that question. I know it's a real helpful time saver and money saver too. We can investigate whether we can, request that of HUD, but you may have noticed that HUD has done some changes to their website, made some things inaccessible. So unfortunately, we don't have any control over that, but we can certainly reach out and see if we can get some more information for you. But I apologize for that happening, and we're not sure what's going on with that. We don't really have much to do with it, but we'll see what we can find out, and hopefully they get it back online very soon.
Thank you, Susan. Brandy also asked, is there an idea of what audit years will be required to submit?
Hi, Brandy. So I would think if you look at last year's, the training materials that we post for the last NOFA, it probably will be maybe this next year, but I think we are still trying to work that out. But I think the best thing I can say is to make sure that any of the jurisdictions that you are working with, to make sure that they're, in working on those audits and trying to get them processed. And if there is findings and stuff, making sure that those corrective action plans are, they are in place. So. I know it's not the answer you're probably looking for, but I mean, the best advice I can give from a financial standpoint is just make sure that you guys are filing them on time, and if there's any findings, just make sure that you guys are working towards resolving those. And Susan, I know you're jumping in too.
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback off that. Yeah, so when it comes to your single audits, we just need the most recent. That's really what you want to go for. And if your jurisdiction is exempt, for example, make sure that you have all those ducks in a row, because I know that SEO can be behind and that sort of a thing has happened before, but we're going to be bound to what we see on the SEO website. So now is the time to make sure that your information is correct and accurate on the SEO website. That's where we go to validate. Make sure you have the most recent single audit in, like Shannon said, that your corrective action plan is present and that whatever deadlines that you intended to clear your findings have been met. Those are the kind of things we're going to be looking for.
We specified a certain year last year, Susan, and so
Right.
like at least the minimum. So I think I think that's what she's trying to figure out is what that year is going to be. But I know that we're still trying to figure that
Right.
out. Just you know.
We're working on those application questions now. So what we will, at the time that we release the NOFA, we will also release the application questions, and that information will be on there. So hopefully that's helpful. Thanks, Shannon.
Yep.
Thank you, Shannon and Susan. Brandy would like, Carparosa would like to know, we are working with a jurisdiction that will be submitting a PI application in the next 30 to 90 days. Should we use the 2024 application? Tanner?
Hi, Brandy. Yes, please use the 2024 PI application.
Brandy would like to know, can you please go back to that pre-award slide? Tanner, can you take it to that slide for me? I'm having presentation issues.
Sure, give me a moment to
No.
find that slide.
Okay, while we're doing that, I think we can go ahead and move on to the next question. And we'll let Tanner find that and pull that up for us.
So the next question is, this past funding cycle on a first come first served basis was not very good for many jurisdictions. Will things change in the next NOFA?
Wonderful question. Thank you, Angel, for that question. We are aware, and we've received a lot of feedback that the first come first served basis is not ideal for a lot of jurisdictions. We agree. We are working on some changes to that process, which will be announced when the NOFA is released. The annual action plan does have the method of distribution in there. So if you want to take a look at that, you'll see kind of where we're leaning toward, and more information will be in the NOFA, but we are looking to do the best we can to address that very issue. So more to come on that. But yes, to answer your question, things will change in the next NOFA when it comes to first come, first served.
Thank you. And thank you, Felicity, for dropping the pages of the MOD into the chat. Okay. Bridget Lacey. I'm sorry, let's go back to, so the pre-award screen is here. Brandy, just to let you know, we do have it back as requested. Bridget Lacey. I missed the last meeting, but heard that OTC applications are going away, and we will go back to most applications being competitive moving forward. Is that correct? I also heard that there would be preference given to entities that have not received CDBG funds in the past. Is that correct? Susan?
Oh, Bridget, thank you for these questions. These are good questions. So already addressed the OTC situation that you can kind of look at the direction we're leaning in the annual action plan and watch for the NOFA to come out, which will identify how we're actually going to do it, and pay attention to the scoring components, because they will be a little more weighted in the new process that we're proposing. As far as preference given to entities that have not received funds in the past, that is something we are exploring and considering. But again, we can't really announce anything pre-NOFA release. But I can say that we're looking at that potential also. So again, when the new NOFA comes out, there's not going to be a ton of changes, but there are some comprehensive changes. So make sure that you take a really good look at that. And during that 60-day NOFA review period, you can bring all questions, and I encourage everyone to bring your questions to either the CDBG unit inbox or your program representative that's assigned to you if you have one, and so that we can get into the details and really answer what you need to know before the application submission period opens. So we are leaning in some of these directions, and those will all be finalized when the NOFA and the application questions are released. Hopefully that's helpful. Sorry, I can't give you a solid quite yet, but we are looking and exploring those options.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you. Angel Johnstone, are you doing away with the OTC on future cycles of funding? Also, can a jurisdiction apply for both housing and economic development business loan funding in the next NOFA? Susan, you want to answer?
I just love these questions coming in. We're all on the same page thinking the same thing. So we've already got, we've kind of gone over the OTC changes that we're hoping to make and propose that will be released in the NOFA. For as far as jurisdictions applying for both housing and economic development business loan funding, what is going to be allowable will also be released in the NOFA. So, we kind of have to be careful about giving heads up and competitive advantage to anyone, but really all things will be answered when the NOFA comes out. So I would keep your questions, your specific ones handy. So once the NOFA is released, you can hit us up for specifics for your project, specifics for your program, specifics on what's allowed. So once it's released, if you still have these questions, please reach out to us, and we're happy to assist and answer so we can get folks to have a good competitive application.
I just want to add to that, thank you, Susan, is that we do apologize that we can't give you specifics right now because we're still in the midst of developing and getting reviews and approvals. So we don't want to give you any information that may change, if it be at the last minute or within the time frame that we're doing this process of getting the NOFA ready. So we want to make sure that when we drop the NOFA, it has went through all of the reviews and discussions that we go through internally, and make sure that once we drop it, that is what it is. And you'll have all the correct information to be able to move forward with applying and making decisions on your application. So I appreciate you guys' patience on that, but we just want to make sure that we give you correct information and up-to-date information.
Thank you, Mamie and Susan. Appreciate that response. So Kelly Hansen would like to know, when do we anticipate moving to the new reporting software? Can you share the name of the software? Susan?
Sure. Yeah, thank you, Kelly, for that question. We're very excited about it. We're putting a lot into it. Maybe, is it okay for me to share the name of the software? I don't see that being a problem.
No, Jeannie is still on.
It's currently live for APR, I believe. APR is already using it. So the name of the new system is HCD Connect.
Right.
And we are anticipated to go sometime in 2026 is, I believe, the current schedule.
Thank you, Jeannie, with your new expertise. I thought I could defer to you on that one.
Oh, thank you, Susan.
Thanks for that answer. Great. Hope that's helpful.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Jeannie, our inside track. We appreciate you. Okay, anonymous attendee. So we should use the draft of the consolidated plan to prepare our citizen participation hearing in preparation for the 2025 NOFA. Shannon?
Hi. So honestly, and anybody that is on this call that is a grantee of mine, you've heard me say this time and time again. I would wait until the NOFA, just to play it safe. I know that people want to be prepared and to do things to get ahead of the game. I always recommend just to wait. Basically, you can, I would look at chapter 4 of our grants management manual that's on our website. That kind of outlines, the requirements, because you have to post 10 days before, 4 distinct places, things like that. And so, I mean, you could absolutely work with your rep and at least get a draft, have it ready, and just be kind of prepared. Like once the NOFA comes, you fill in those missing pieces, and then you start working on getting yourself on the agenda. But I've seen it time and time again. Don't when you when you kind of get, I don't know, I've seen it kind of go sideways for some folks. So I don't want to see that happen to you. Another resource too is we have a webinar from our last NOFA, the public participation. That is also on our website as well. That I would really highly recommend you review that as well. That has a lot of really good information.
Yeah, thanks, Shannon. And just to piggyback off, everything you said is absolutely accurate and perfect. Also, I just want to remind everyone, this is why we're giving an extra 30 days in the NOFA review period, so that you will have time to be able to wait for the NOFA to drop before you go out and do your public noticing, because I know it's a lot of work to have to redo that tough public noticing if the NOFA says something different than what you were expecting to do for projects. So I agree with Shannon, waiting until the NOFA drops is best practice. Definitely, you can get things ahead of time, ready to go with your program rep, as Shannon said. And then once the NOFA drops, you can make sure that your projects or programs are going to be allowable, and you'll have that 60 days to be able to handle your public noticing before the submission period is open for you to apply.
Yeah, you'll have plenty of time. I promise.
Yep.
Just hang tight.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Shannon. Angel Johnstone asks, I am an economic development business loan consultant, and many jurisdictions are concerned that the program is not seeing ED projects as favorable as housing. Is that the case when reviewing for awards? Shannon, you want to cover that?
Yeah. Hi, Angel. So I just want to make it really clear, like we don't have favorites when we review applications. I just want to make sure I maybe caught your question right. You know, it's based off whatever comes in. Like we don't have favorites or anything like that. So I'm trying to maybe get a better idea of your question if anybody else wants to take a stab at it.
Sure, I'll jump in with you too, Shannon.
Yeah.
Actually, what you're gonna want to take note of what the scoring parameters are. Shannon's accurate that we don't favor any kind of project or program over another. We try to be the least amount of subjective as possible. So when we're reviewing for awards, we are looking at the scoring parameters and bucketing everyone appropriately to make it as objective as possible. So I would definitely, when the scoring comes out and you're able to look at that, I would definitely pay special attention. So you can see kind of how things are going to be scored, because that is how we determine the awards, is with scoring, not with what we determine to be the most need. I mean, there is a little bit of need in there, but it'll all be illuminated in the scoring parameters. Thanks, Shannon.
Yeah. And I mean, and the other thing too is, you know, every jurisdiction, you guys are all different. You know, sometimes housing rehab does great in certain areas, but then in some areas it doesn't do well, you know, and maybe business assistance is more popular. It just depends on your community. But I mean, like I said, we don't have any favoritism. You guys know your community's best, and you guys know what that need is. And usually it's through trial and error where you figure out what does best in your community. So.
And just to add, that we do economic development programs, and I know that's been an issue with some of our grantees to be able to get off the ground. So we always encourage and we try to provide training to our grantees to be able to support and encourage them to apply for economic development programs in their community. So if there is any other consultants or things that can assist our grantees, we do encourage it, because we do encourage all the activities that we do offer for them to apply for, whatever the need is. Like Shannon says, you know your community better than we do. So whatever your need is, and if it's, you know, business assistance or technical assistance, we want to be able to help you provide TA to see how you can get that into your community. So most definitely, we don't have favorites, but I know economic development, a lot of grantees kind of shy away from the program because they just don't have the expertise or the, you know, being familiar with how to run the program. So if anyone can assist and help and share knowledge, that will be grateful, you know, to the grantees, helpful.
Thank you, Mamie, Susan, and Shannon. Brandy asked, Any word from HUD or senators or Congress members regarding CDBG funding in the 2026 budget year? Susan, you're going to cover this?
Sure, that is a great question, Brandy. We are also watching with bated breath on what the federal government is proposing for the 26 budget year. We do have regular communication with HUD. Unfortunately, we don't have any new information to share. We don't necessarily know more than you do on what's going on with that. We've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. When it comes to CDBG and the 2026 budget year, it's just a proposal so far. We haven't seen the finished product yet of what they're planning to do. But to answer your question, we are in contact with HUD regularly, and we've voiced definitely our concerns and worries on it, but we don't have any additional information to share. I will say that when we do, we absolutely will share with you what we learn, and we're just hopeful that everything works out to our benefit to the jurisdictions in the state. So we'll keep you posted as things change, and we are in communication with HUD, but unfortunately we don't have an update as it's just a proposal and still working through the legislative process federally. So when we know more, we'll let you know.
Thank you, Susan.
Yeah, so business as usual, people. So just so you won't be too concerned or worry, just business as usual, still continue to process those financial reports and to be able to review the NOFA and apply as normal. So like Susan says, soon as we know, we will share whatever information that we do receive from HUD.
And can you guys hear me? I want to add one more statement, which is just, it's always beneficial, no matter what the environment is, to visit, if you're able to visit with your local legislators, visit with the folks in your community who might be able to influence what's being decided, and lift up the great projects that have used CDBG funds in your community. Share your stories, share your successes. That is always an impactful strategy.
Thank you, Felicity, Mamie, and Susan. Brandy Carparoso asks, will 2025 applications be in eCivis or the new system? Brandy, 2025 applications will remain in eCivis. Jeannie mentioned that we will get online in 2026 with HCD Connect, correct, Jeannie, if you're still there? Okay, Kelly Hansen. With the significant proposed cuts to HCD in the skinny budget, how does that trickle down to California's CDBG program? Should we be planning to submit smaller projects for the 2025 NOFA? Susan, you're going to cover this?
Sure. Yeah, that's a really great question, Kelly. And I'm going to defer to what Mamie mentioned, that business as usual. So I would not plan on submitting smaller projects unless that's what you need. Just do things as you have done them. Look at the NOFA for what's going to be allowable and what the cap limits will be. And we really want to keep moving along, particularly with the 25 NOFA, and get jurisdictions the funds they need for their high priority projects. So please don't diminish what you're requesting. It won't make a difference in how the scoring is and whether or not you'd be awarded. We want to make sure that you are applying for the things that you need in your communities. Submitting it for a smaller project really won't make a difference to us. Like Shannon and Mamie have already said, you know what you need in your community. So we would encourage you to apply for what you need in your community. Once the NOFA is released, you can see what's going to be allowable, and we'll just keep doing what we're doing until we hear differently. And when we do, we'll let you know.
Thank you, Susan. Lacey Salas asks, will HCD hold office hours more often during the NOFA review period in order to provide a group opportunity to ask questions and discuss? Real-time conversations and hearing the questions, comments from other jurisdictions can be very helpful. Susan?
Sure, that's a really good question. At this time, we do not anticipate, based on workload and being able to provide individual customer service like we've been moving toward doing more and more. We do not anticipate doing additional office hours, but I can tell you, we are anticipating doing some live webinars that we will invite everyone to. So make sure you are on the listserv. If you are not and have questions on that, please feel free to go to the unit inbox and we will get you on those lists. So during those webinars, we do plan to have some unrecorded question and answer time at the end of the webinar. So we'll have some other opportunities for folks to be able to do question comments from other jurisdictions hearing in real-time conversations. I really appreciate that that's important too. It's important to us too. We're trying to always figure out what it is you need and what might be unclear and how we can, tighten things up for you, make things easier, make things more clear. So as long as we can have those real-time conversations, I feel like we can accomplish that. So if we do any additional office hours, we'll certainly let you know, but most definitely we will have some other opportunities for real-time questions and comments from jurisdictions.
And just to add to that, Susan, I think that like we did last year, we're still going to kind of recap the questions and answers that grantees may have had during the NOFA review period. So you can have the opportunity to see the questions being asked of us regarding if it be the application, the NEPA, or just certain things regarding the NOFA. And I'm
Thank you,
correct on that, Susan, right?
No, you're right. Yes. Yeah, we're gonna have as many opportunities as we can. And another thing we did this last time and, maybe you could give us some feedback on whether it was helpful. We did do a question answer newsletter. So certain questions that came into the unit inbox, if we got them multiple of those, then we tried to, kind of disperse the answers out to everyone that's on the listserv. So again, if you are not on the listserv, highly recommend that you reach out to the unit inbox. We get you on there so that you can have all of the communications, and we're going to continue to find ways that we can reach everybody. So if there's, the same questions are coming in from folks, we'll try to address that with everyone. So that, because obviously it's something we probably need to clarify or need to get a little more in the weeds with you guys. So please encourage you to keep in touch with our unit inbox with your questions once the NOFA is released.
Thank you, Mamie and Susan. Brandy says there is not enough time to do public participation once the NOFA drops, as it takes close to 60 days to get those done. Thank you, Brandy. We will take that into consideration. Anonymous attendee. Regarding the office hours question above, please consider that questions from many jurisdictions can be answered in one office hours webinar. This may reduce the need for multiple one-on-one conversations. Thank you, anonymous attendee. We do have several webinars that we present on an annual basis with our NOFA.
Yeah, and thank you, Crystal. And I do want to piggyback for both of these situations. We are going to have 60 days that the NOFA is released. That's just a review period, and then 60 days where the application submission period is open. So essentially 120 days to be able to get things done. And as Shannon mentioned earlier, if you reach out to us and, say, does our public notice look good? Does the, so we can kind of try to help you get prepared to be able to apply, then hopefully that can reduce the time it may take to do some of what you're proposing to do. So, but also taking note that there are limitations to what we can answer. But we're happy to, walk you through what will need to be done in order for you to apply. So we do appreciate this feedback. We will take it all under consideration.
And just to add to that, Susan, thank you, is that I can just want to highly stress, use that 60-day review period. Unfortunately, we didn't see a whole bunch of masses of people using that 60-day period, the last NOFA, to ask questions, to be able to get that assistance for their application. So I just want to highly stress, use that 60 days of the review of the NOFA period to be able to come to your representatives or submit your questions to the CDBG inbox so we can be able to help you prepare when the application period opens. Once it's open, that's when our hands are tied, that we're unable to provide one-on-one TA or any type of TA assistance because we don't want to give that advantage because it is a competitive application process. So please use that 60-day period. Do not wait until the application opens to ask questions, or I wouldn't even encourage the day before the application is about to open to give us time to be able to research if we need to and be able to meet with you if we need to.
Right, and when it comes to public noticing, while we may not have the capacity to completely review them, there is a template on our website. We can absolutely direct you to that. Highly recommend that you use the components in our template for public noticing particularly, because it has the components that we're looking for when we are reviewing your public participation. So as Shannon mentioned, there is a webinar on this that's from last year that, you know, as far as I know, the codes haven't changed. So you should be able to use that as a resource. And then we also have a template on the website too. So these are the kind of things that if you come to us, we can direct you to help you be prepared. So hopefully that's helpful.
Thank you, Susan. And I do not see any additional questions in the Q&A. Well, this was a very nice discussion. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all taking your time. Brandy, thank you for all your answers. I really appreciate office hours. Oh, you're welcome. This is what it's for. We appreciate you all taking this hour of your busy professional lives to get online with us and discuss CDBG. Thank you, Melanie. And if there aren't any other questions, thank you for this office hours. You're welcome. Thank you for the updates. Thank you very much, Kelly, Jim, and Cynthia, and Brandy. Thank you very much, and we'll go ahead and end this June 11th office hours. We will see you at our next quarterly office hours, which will be September 17th. Let me confirm this. I have that date for y'all, which will be September 17th at 10 o'clock. Thank you very much, and please feel free to reach out to your representative or the CDBG unit inbox that you have with any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.